Crisis Management by Nancy Martinez. Chapter 1 focuses on an administrator's story. His name is Greg. Greg, over 16 years in school leadership, has worked as an administrator in 3 districts and transitioned from the central office to the principalship and back again. He has learned that the grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence. He's learned from having the support he needs and not having the support he needs in leadership. Professional fit. It is important to understand that not all positions are created equal. Greg quickly discovered that the district's culture and resistance to change can erode one's perceived fit for a position. Throughout his stories that he discusses in the book, he discusses professional fit and its relationship to one's work-life balance that will continue to be themes. Greg discusses the importance of relationships. Building a strong culture with staff is the primary buffer against professional loneliness. Trusting relationships are centered on around respect and mutual need. School leaders need strong staff, and staff need strong school leaders. Jumping around to new career opportunities may cause a lack of sustainable relationships that can lead to loneliness and burnout. It is important to make note accepting more stress is an agreement school leaders make accepting the position. School leaders are expected to exercise a style of leadership that creates a culture that promotes student achievement, student and staff well-being, and adherence to school policies. Responsible for their own well-being and that of their school community, school leaders are vulnerable to stressors embedded within the demands for effectiveness and efficiency. They face numerous job-related pressures that include increasing complexity and face a rising expectations and high demands. School leaders, especially principals at the center of children's lives, are uniquely vulnerable. School leaders accept the stress when they accept the job of leadership. Self-care is important to leadership. It is important to note that success as a classroom teacher often does not translate into success as a school leader. Leading oneself is crucial to leading others. Being responsible for an entire school's well-being compared to that of an individual's classroom will inherently be a more stressful experience to leaders. Transformational leaders don't start by denying the world around them. Instead, they describe a future they like to create instead. They consider their emotional well-being and look to provide necessary support for those who need them. Most importantly, they explicitly build their staff's individual and collective self-efficacy. School leaders have the potential to be either a buffer against work stressors or a major source of stress for their staff. Transformational leaders build resiliency within themselves to meet these daily challenges and work with their school communities to build individuals and a collective self-efficacy. They have the essential role to play in this process and outcomes of that process that have powerful implications for leaders' stress level and well-being. Two crucial concepts in Chapter 5 are professional fit and work-life balance. When taken for granted, leadership positions can negatively impact leadership personal and family lives. Chapter 6 suggests the following strategies to help with the feeling of lonely with principals. First, building trusting and authentic relationships with students, staff, and the community. Next, possess an ethic of care towards those being served. Last, recognize that power dynamics may be different when being promoted from within versus changing organizations for advancement. Creating conditions for time management is very important. When school leaders accept administrative positions, they also accept new realities around time and expectations. It would be unrealistic to expect that school leaders can manage their time perfectly on any given day. School leaders should reflect upon how they can create conditions to manage their time. Stephen Covey, his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, has an Eisenhower Matrix, and the book recommends the Eisenhower Matrix as a good strategy. It is 4-quadrant matrix that shows urgent and non-urgent, and important and not important. And this is highly recommended for leaders to follow so that they're not so stressed. Is it time to seek a new opportunity? Chapter 10. So Chapter 10 kind of goes back to the beginning where we're discussing, is it the right fit? And knowing when the right time for a new opportunity is very important as school leaders. It goes into different factors like the family phase, the professional fit, the success, and really looking into this by assessing, is it professional fit? Is it your lifestyle? Are there other factors that are important before jumping into this new position? When interviewing for new positions, school leaders need to really consider many factors. They need to do their homework on the organization or the school. They need to be prepared to really understand what they're diving into, what they're getting into. Are they going to be able to accept this challenge? They need to be prepared in what the job entails. What are their jobs? How much time is it going to take away from their family? And do they have the time to devote themselves to this new career? And they need to be okay with knowing that it's not going to be done perfect, that it is a learning curve, and that there's going to be many stress factors, but really being able to balance that work life is going to be very important. And so it's very important when you are diving into these opportunities that you're going in with as many questions as possible, because you want to make sure it's the right fit. And through the data and the surveys, every single one of them said knowing that it's the right fit is important. That's going to help a stress factor. Knowing that you're there because you want to be there and you didn't just take a job is another factor of relieving that stress. So seeking that opportunity with having all the facts so you know that it is your place to be.